So this is the ultimate guide of how to get started on that spring bite for trout. So first up, we're going to talk about your rod setup. Here, I'm running an Orvis Clearwater 4-weight 8.6 and a Lamson Liquid S. These are a great rod and reel combo for trout, especially in Western Oregon here, because it's super light and cheap too. I mean, you don't need a super expensive reel, and this rod is a real good rod for $200. Next up, we're gonna go over what should be in your bag. So I like a strapped bag like this. Helps you walk around easier, so you don't trip and fall. If you do, don't lose all your stuff. So I've used a, style bag like this, crossbody strap, for a long time, and it does not work very good. So first of all, every angler should have hemostats, nippers on the outside of your bag, easy to get to, quick to get to, so you don't kill any more fish than you need to, and quicker when you're tying on knots. Alright, so first up, we're going to start in the very back of the bag. This is where I keep all my Sea-Run cutthroat flies and random licenses and stuff. You don't really need these, but in Western Oregon, it's about the only thing to catch midsummer, unless you go way up in the mountains. Alright, so here's the real essentials. The only thing really you need for this time of year is, there we go, nymphs. Especially in the spring, fish aren't going to be super active. They're not going to be eating on some of these streamers like this. Not going to be eating on something giant like that. Especially if you're fishing for smaller fish. So start small. So next you got your indicators. Thingamabobbers, the best. Leader, don't go all out on leader. Here, I'm going to show you my leader setup. But 10 pound and then 6 pound can be cheap. Don't buy tippet. Tippet sucks. Alright, so now once you get later in summer, you're going to have more options, especially dries. You want a good dry box. See, I need to tie a lot more dries. But yeah, so basic dries, random flies. And then of course, you need your wet flies. These are killer for all around the year, and they're super traditional and fun way to fish. And of course, that midsummer dry fly hatch, even early spring, you gotta have your floatant. The best floatant, in my opinion, is this, gink. Let's go over the essential nymphs that you need to have for spring fishing. So right this section are gonna be your most essential nymphs, right here. So yes, you can use your big glow bugs. They'll work good for planted trout, and your squirmy wormies will work good. But really, you don't want to use stoneflies, maybe some mop flies. But yeah, not big stonefly patterns. Just small, buggy, bright. All you really need. Now, if you're fishing for more aggressive fish that are just starting to warm up, maybe even bass, if you got some good spots, here's what you're really going to be wanting. This is one of my favorite streamers. I don't remember the exact name of it, but just 2 bunny strips. And yeah, some flash. Really good streamer. And then trout, get some cold water bites, just aggressive fish trying to feed. These right here, these are a custom made fly, my own pattern at least, that I'm aware of. It's right there. They work really good. And you really want to catch some early winter bluegill, or early spring, late winter. Tiny, tiny little woolly buggers like this. Inch them along, and they'll treat you really well. Now, some random assorted flies that I have too that work really well is, let's see, where is it? Right here, bluegill, early winter, small black woolly bugger, and your damselflies, like these damselfly imitations, so your kind of green woolly buggers without a bead. They work really well. And then of course, classic yellow glow eggs. Now if you really are not catching anything, throw a little garlic scent on these for stock trout. Works super good. Now don't do it if you're not allowed to, but if you are, that's killer. Not least, I'm going to show you how I tie my leader setup. This is going to help you throw really heavy indicator rigs nice and good. So we're going to start with our 10 pound or 12 pound, depending on what kind of fish you catch. For trout though, this is a good indicator rig. So we're going to go arm's length of this. And then on one end, just tie figure 8 loop knot. Your loop, tie one loop, then you're gonna go 1 and 2 times through. Pull that tight. And there's your connecting end to your main line, or yeah, I guess main line. Depending on what you use, if you're a weird Euro nympher, this video is not for you. So here I got 6 pound for our next step. You can use even lighter, but use cheap leader. I mean, you don't have to. If you love tippet, you can do it, but you're gonna do 1.5 arm's length of this. I've talked about cheap leader a lot, but the reason I don't use tippet is because it's not super expensive, but it breaks if you don't take care of it, and I've never had a fish break off on this that it wouldn't have broken off on tippet. And this way, you do not have to buy those super expensive, fancy tapered leaders. Because yes, $10 is too much. So now you're going to tie a nail knot, or a blood knot, surgeon's knot, whatever you like to use. Connect them to each other. So here we're not super scientific. If you want to measure out your leaders, that's fine. If I were to measure it out, this is going to be about a 7-foot leader, with your main foot being, your main portion being 3 feet, or 2 feet, sorry, and your thinner line being 3 feet. So the reason I'm doing this is so you'll have better fly turnover, especially with heavy indicator rigs, and you won't have to change out your main leader as much. Because the way you do this is you are going to only cut and tie your flies on the 6 pound. So whenever you need more leader, new leader, you're just gonna cut it off, and it'll slowly get shorter and shorter. But yeah, don't have to change your main leader. So there you go, got your knot, snip it free. And you want to make sure there's not much tag at all. As short as you can get it, with just a tiny little bit of room for slip out. See, that's about how much I'm gonna leave. Actually, let me get you a good measurement for the people who want to measure out their leaders. Alright, the length of your first tapered section, or not tapered, but your main leader, is going to be, let's see, 4 foot 6 inches. And then your smaller, lighter leader is gonna be right around 5 foot 6 inches. So what is that? 10 feet, 10 foot leader that I use. It's gonna be real long, but yeah, it'll work good. Show you how I set up my nymph rigs. So take it, ideally, so you're gonna have it on the end of your main line. Have your end of your main line, make sure there's no old tip or leader in there. And you're just gonna do a loop to loop connection. There you go. Nice and secure. So ideally, you don't have a knot on this like the end of your main line, and you have one of those, but I had a big knot and the end of my main line broke off. So yeah, that ruins your taper. So don't do that. It was a big mistake I made. Alright, so we're gonna give you an example of a one fly rig, because these, unless you're drifting wet flies, are what you want to use. Here, rubber leg Prince nymph, tie it on. Okay, have it tied on. Then you're gonna have your thingamabobber at your set depth. Here, I'm probably gonna run it at like 4 feet. So here I have a big orange one for demonstration. Ideally, you have a little bit smaller one if you're using clear water, but you're gonna loop it through. Just like that. So it's connected. And you can move these around, make sure they don't get tangled. And then, forgot to mention this earlier, you want split shot. Split shot's a major thing you want. You're gonna take, depending on how much water, right now our flow is pretty moderate, so I'm just gonna use one little split shot, so don't drop it. And you are gonna want to put it right about 6 inches to a foot. If you have a spooky fish, maybe a little bit higher up. Hemostat, squish it down. Now if you're using light water, or fishing in light water, you won't probably even need split shot, but our flow is still pretty moderate, and yeah, there you go. There's your nymph rig. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to win any of the rigs or flies shown, just comment down in the videos.